The next question up says, regarding a substitution for the front squat, I always have a hard time doing these because whatever I do with my grip, in 95% of cases, I get the feeling that the limiting factor for me isn't the strength of my lower body, but rather my grip. During Project Momentum, I substituted them with a low pin squat. Is a pin squat a viable alternative for the front squat, or should I still try to do the front squat if they appear in the upcoming program? It really depends on what's going on. I find that a lot of people are really quick to get away from front squatting because they feel like they're not able, like it's not taxing my legs aren't the limiting factor, it's just my ability to hold the bar on my shoulders. Well, here's the thing, it could be a couple things with the front squat. It could be something technical. So powerlifters, when we back squat, we tend to break at the hips first and we sit back. Okay? If you try to do that with a front squat, you're going to dump the bar. And that's where a lot of people kind of get wrist pain and just, they're dumping the bar prematurely because they're letting their chest fall down. A front squat has to be vertical, okay? You've got to keep your torso as vertical as possible. So really what it is you're standing erect and you're dropping your hips straight down between your heels, okay? You can't let your hips go back hardly at all, because when you do, then you're going to get a forward lean and then the bar is going to fall down. Okay, so there's a technical aspect to it. And that's also part of the reason why the front squat is programmed. Because it requires that technical performance, it really emphasizes quad development, which is what we're after when the front squat is programmed. What it's telling you is that if you can't hold the bar on your shoulders because it keeps falling down, because your torso leans forward and it's falling down, is that you're either not performing the lift properly technically, or let's say that let's say a set calls for 5 reps and you're able to get the first 3 reps and, you keep the bar on your shoulders all right. But then those last 2, the bar starts slipping down. Maybe the last one, it falls, What that's telling you is that as that set progressed, your quads started to get tired. And when your quads started to get tired, you started to shift the weight more onto your glutes and hamstrings and started having more forward lean. You started cheating a little bit and taking your quads out of that movement. And the front squat punished you by you not being able to hold the bar on your shoulders. Now, that's commonly what I see is people are very quick to dismiss the front squat. The last thing that it could be is you get people that have a problem keeping the bar on their collarbone. It causes problems with their collarbone, or it causes problems with their shoulders, or they're, for whatever reason, they're just not able to do it. If you just can't do it, like you can't even do one, then okay, yeah, find a different movement. But keep in mind that we're looking for a quad dominant movement. So pin squats, like what was suggested, that's not really it. Okay, I would be looking for something like even leg press or hack squats or a trap bar deadlift or something along those lines. And kind of bringing in my more recent experience, I would consider doing Jefferson deadlifts because the center of gravity is further back. It feels more like a trap bar deadlift, but it's not a trap bar. So those are some alternatives that you can consider. And they're perfectly viable. You don't have to front squat. Say you just really hate it, then don't front squat. If you really hate it that much, then don't do it. There are alternative movements, but they're all quad dominant movements because that's the point of that slot is to develop the quads. But what I'm saying though is that if it's not that, if it's not like, oh, I really hate it, if it's not that, oh, this exercise causes pain, then stick with it for a little while. Because what I see a lot of times is that people's quads aren't necessarily as strong as they think, at least in that movement pattern. And that goes for me included. There's been times recently where I would do a high bar squat with 700 pounds, and it's not a big deal. But if I do a belt squat with 200 pounds for 10 reps, that is really difficult. And it doesn't feel so difficult like, oh, my quads are really burning or my quads are working so hard. It feels difficult, like, why isn't this working? Why am I not able to stand up right now? So it's not always the same feel. Okay, so hang in there if you can. If you can't, it's not a big deal. There are plenty of other exercises under the sun, but definitely give it a chance.